Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great day and a good start to the week. It's Tuesday and we've seen the markets kind of grinding around a little bit across really all the markets. You can see the U.S. markets haven't done really anything. S&P's down just a little bit. Dow's pretty flat. NASDAQ, everything's pretty much not moving much. We did see some movement in gold. We'll look at that chart in just a moment. And oil, again, pretty flat. No news today, zero announcements, zero anything exciting. So we're pretty much seeing that flatness. But this is for tomorrow. This is tomorrow's schedule of news announcements. We have retail sales starting the morning off. Will be live for that, so we should see some good movements there. Then coming into the early afternoon, we have interest rates out of New Zealand and a rate statement, so probably some very big, nice movement out of that, depending on how the rate statement goes. And then we have employment numbers for Australia a couple hours later, and you can see that it'll be a pretty active day tomorrow, and hopefully that'll get this Aussie dollar moving. We're going to talk about a couple of Aussie dollar situations here in just a moment. Here's the euro dollar. And it is, my outlook has not changed on the euro dollar since yesterday, which is kind of a little bit of a wait and see. The one thing that is slightly just changing, ever so slightly, we're finding some nice support here, and it looks like we might be ready to break out of this channel. The safe bet is to get long above last week's high, which is 131.34, 35. That should be a pretty good bet. That's going to put us into contact with the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart pretty quickly, but ultimately I think that'll be enough of a run to kind of pound out this bottom, and I think we have a good bottom in place here for at least the short term. So, like I said, the better, safer, bigger bet is long above 130.134, but I'm actually liking long above 130.75 as well. We have, this has been a nice tested level. We've tested it again, so above 130.75, I think things get kind of interesting and potentially potentially good enough to give us to give us a nice trade and a nice opportunity into these highs. So you could always try the long here against these lows, which is 80 pips, and I don't love that. I think our safer bet is long above 130.75, ultimately to 131.35, which is, about a 60 or so pip run, and from there we should be able to kind of continue it on. But in the middle, it's just a lot of chop. I ultimately like getting long against these lows, but there's just a lot of chop in the middle, and that's why I think we're a little bit better as we start to kind of break out of this channel. A break above 130.75 gets us outside of this channel, at least to some degree, and it gets us beyond. We have an inverted hammer right here, or a shooting star. And so breaking that high is invalidating that candle, which is good. And gets us, really moving nicely. So again, not too interested in anything until we get above 130.75. From there, first target 131.35, and beyond that, as high as 13300. So that's kind of what I see happening on the euro dollar as of current. That's the trade I would take. Of course, if we break this trend line, probably won't take a break of the trend line, but I would take a break of 129.50 to short. Okay, pound dollar is kind of an interesting situation. I think we have some pretty good stuff going on here. You can see this trend line that just kind of magically extends across all of these highs here. And if I get rid of this guy right here, you can see it just a little bit better. But I think the pound dollar, I think this is a good little trend line to watch. And I think if we break this, we've got a run into the missed weekly pivot, which is 70 pips. So that being said, there should be an easy 40 pips in there to grab with breakouts and so on. So I'd like to see a break of about 149.10 to 149.12 right in that area, and then target this missed weekly pivot. And I think that's going to be a good trade for now. There's nothing too significant. We have a bit of a hammer here on the 4-hour chart, which is good. A couple of things that are telling us that we might get some upside movement. We had a doji yesterday, and we could end up with even the most slight pin bar today. So we'll see how that works out. We still have some bearish potential, a lot of bearish potential here, but it looks like it's slowly starting to kind of bottom out a little bit, and might just be able to give us that opportunity to get long. And that's where I do want to buy above that trend line and trade into that missed pivot. So just kind of a simple trade for now, 60-70 pip run up. We'll see if we can grab that when that happens. So should be a nice little mover. Aussie dollar is doing some stuff. Here is kind of what I envision happening on the Aussie dollar. Our daily pin bar has played out very nicely, big run up from that pin bar, but we're coming into some big resistance once again. 103.70, 10400 has been a tough level for the Aussie dollar, and it might be time that it breaks. I don't know, but I do know that we've got a little ways to go before we get to that big resistance, and so that being the case, what I'm looking for here is I'd like to get long right around 10300. I'd like to buy around 10300 here and trade up to that 10330 and ultimately 10360-70 area. I think there's a decent chance that we're going to test this. Excuse me. We're going to test this missed pivot sooner than later. At which point I think it's still not bad to buy into that. I like this trend line, kind of this sharp level that we have here. Again, we have lots of resistance and so on, but this trend line looks pretty good. And I think if we get a dip down into the 200 moving average, excuse me, and into the missed pivot, I think we have a really good opportunity to buy into this area here. So more around like the 102.60 area is where I would be interested in buying into this, with stops below this low of about 10200. So we're looking at a decent size stop loss, decent size trade, but I think if we can get in around 102.60, we have at least a good chance of getting back into these highs and ultimately into 103.75 or so. So really about all I'm doing is looking to buy Aussie dollar around 102.60-65 area with stops below this, and just kind of looking to see how that plays out. Gold is just all over the place. We've had some nice reversal candles here. It looks like it might start coming down. Gold has been so choppy and so crazy lately that I don't know that it's a good one to be trading. So if you are trading it, be super careful and cautious. Euro yen moving around a bit. We're starting to get a little bit of interesting stuff on the euro yen, so I'm keeping my eye out on a few things. We still have a missed pivot, and we still have missed weekly and daily pivots, so I think we might see a little bit of downside, but not doing too much on the euro yen just yet. But I am watching the Aussie yen, and I think this one is starting to get a little bit more interesting. We had a nice pin bar at the top here, and then a nice hammer at the bottom, and this thing is really kind of in the middle. So no immediate trade just yet on the Aussie yen, but I think we do have something coming up nice on that one. So we're keeping our eye out there. So again, kind of the regular. I'm looking for opportunities on euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, and I think we'll have some good chances on all of those pairs in the coming several hours. So keep an eye on that. Best of luck with everything. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, and if you'd like to join us in our trading group, you can get a free trial at daytradersfx.com. Thanks a bunch, everybody. See you in the chat.